my peeps. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to give it just a second here because I am waiting for Mark to jump on, which will be diving into some really cool stuff we've been excited to talk about. First off, if you guys are jumping on and can tell me, can you hear me okay? I'm looking at putting in headphones, but they look like this. So I'm like, might get to do this a little bit. But if my sound and volume's okay, I also have like a whole house full of cleaners and team here because the Goddess Empire event is going down tomorrow. Look, yay, Mark is here. So I will add, yay, Mark. So hopefully it's in process of adding. Anyways, it took me a moment. There he is.
Hey.
A moment. Do you recognize this room, Mark?
Yeah.
Do you know where I found a quiet spot in my entire magical manifestation mansion? Look.
And is that, oh, there it is.
It's the guest bedroom, the whole guest
That
area.
is a beautiful, if you ever have the chance, that is the place to stay.
You know this room well. Yeah, I'm like outside, I'm all over, there's lawn people, there's a room full of cleaners, there's my team. I was like, where in this whole entire place is there a quiet space right now? So I was just sharing with everyone that I was considering doing headphones, but I was still in this process. Can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear us okay? Let us know, please, if you can hear me okay. I can hear you okay. Yeah?
Monica says yep. And
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that is good. Yeah. Yeah. How do you like my lighting? This is the luxurious hotel room at Treasure Island.
You're somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in
you look sunshine glowy from like a lamp. I'm guessing a hotel lamp. Looks like a hotel lamp.
Look at my beautiful picture. It's like California.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Except it's Wisconsin.
Nice. Yeah,
except it's Wisconsin.
That might go along with I'm gonna turn. I got this on the chair. Can you see that one? You saw that.
Oh, there we go.
It's like the bowl
it kind of matches.
Quite interesting, huh?
So, I love it.
Well, we're both finally together. We took a little bit longer, guys, because I told you I got a whole load of people in my house for the Goddess Empire event, and yet this has been something that Mark and I have we've been talking about for a while. Like really excited to kind of stir some knowledge and some context and some truth for all that's available out there, and for all those people who are called to awaken people, right? To actually share and bring understanding to people who have a different experience. So give us a little bit of context to, you've been diving into this space for a long time. Obviously where we're going and where we're seeing what's possible for the world to participate is different. Yet give us a little bit of context of like, why wake up corporate America? What's been your experience with that?
Yeah, here's what's really interesting about this. I've spent really my entire career around the personal development space, but also like while working in the corporate space early on. So being inside the companies, at one point I even had a job, believe it or not, but I actually had a job selling corporate training to corporations on behalf of somebody else. And so, I got a lot of insight about like, I don't know, what are the needs and what's going on. But when I started my own training business, so I don't even know if I've ever told you this story. When I started my own training business, the whole idea was I just wanted to get on stage and have classrooms and teach. That was it. Like I didn't really even understand the coaching industry fully at that point. And then one day I was literally working a room of like CEOs, general managers, sales managers of some different companies, and I was kind of talking to them about, hey, here's how here's how you baby boomers fix your millennial problem, which is a big pain in the corporate space. And so that was my spiel. That was my 6 years ago, that was the thing that I talked about for the most part. And the CEO comes up to me one day after we got done, and he's like, hey, this all sounds really good. I understand that my employees need more feedback. I understand that I need to invest more time in building up my team, my staff, whatever. Here's the deal. Not only do I have these 5, 10, 20 people to manage, I have to go sell. I have to go run my business. I have all this time overhead. I don't have time.
He literally doesn't for improvement, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so the norm of the corporate space, and I'm going to get to like, where is this whole wake up corporate America thing coming from? And we could get, if you want to go really deep, we can dive to where the whole vision came one day.
How I roll. We just go everywhere.
Right. Exactly. But I just want you to think of it this way. I mean, if you're in this entrepreneurial space and you're somebody who's doing coaching, you're maybe building a program, you're probably a lot like, you know, where we've been trying to sell other coaches or other entrepreneurs on programs. And that's good. You know what? I spent hundreds of thousands on coaching and getting coached so that I can grow my business. And there's a need for us to do that. But I think we've totally missed and gone away for whatever reason from the need for coaching in the corporate space. And I'm just going to draw this picture. You know, here in America, we're obsessed with the whole zombie apocalypse. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're obsessed. We're like, people are spending entire weekends binge watching like all the seasons of Walking
football.
Dead. Yeah.
Not just the weekends, my friend. It's like, well, I mean, obviously I haven't owned a TV for like 10 years, but you know, or watched. I don't watch TV, right? I haven't had cable or TV hooked up for years and years and years. And to think about that was like the common, like, you get home from work and what do? It was just like, that's what people do, is watch television all night, and they zone out on their life and their living, right?
Exactly. Well, and so within that, there's even another niche where the whole, like, literally zombie movies, right? Like, we're obsessed with the whole zombie. I see people driving up and down the road with like the zombie disaster cars. You know, they have like zombie disaster kits just in case. And here's where I'm going. I get with what I do, I get to walk into behind the doors of a lot of the corporations in America. And what we don't realize is that the zombie apocalypse already occurred. It's not about eating brains or killing. It's literally like people, as I walk into a lot of companies, people stopped trying. People stopped realizing or even thinking about the fact that there could be something bigger, more bold, something that I could actually enjoy, that work didn't have to be a drag.
Yeah. Can I add some context to this? This is what I felt is so powerful about your shift, because guys, like, I've worked with Mark for probably 9 months. You know, he went down to Colombia with me and my peeps for my Badass Breakthrough Adventure, then became one of my personal clients. And I've seen you in this journey of how you're affecting corporate space. And recently what came through you was this really deep passion to be like, oh my gosh, I could magnify the waking up of America when I assist other coaches to know how to get into this
exactly
space. And it was just like, whoa, so many people don't know how to do that. They've just been like, you know, we're affecting the people that are in already the open-mindedness space, or that are already awake and seeking more. But as I said in the post before, was like, the only way we rise humanity is that we all come. We all need to rise. And so I want to bring a little context into this, and that the value and the importance of this, because some people might be like, maybe you're not a coach, maybe you're in corporate America, maybe you're maybe you're less, that you've been woken up to a degree, or you've been on the path of waking up and you see how much it affects your life, or maybe you're just realizing, and I just want to create the context and understanding that we all share one mind. There is one collective mind. The only way to rise above the frequency. So notice, like, the collective mind is normally operating out of fear, lack, scarcity, worry, sickness. That is what's creating the frequency in our planet, that you literally can be picking up these thoughts that aren't your thoughts. You can be picking up these feelings and emotions and energy that aren't yours. even to share a room with someone, you're sharing your auric field. So there's that mix of energy. And this is the thing, the only way to rise above being affected by that is to rise your own frequency. Yet we will never allow the frequency of our planet to shift and change until we bring everyone up. And something that you said was powerful is that you were saying how it's like we're so used to this state that we forget, we don't even see what's beyond our hologram, our illusion, right? And it reminded me of the stat that it's like, I think by the age 35, 95% of what you're doing is memorized. 95% of what you're doing is memorized. And it's
locked in. The neurological hardwiring is there.
Right. It's like you go the same route, you do the same. So imagine for people that are, they've built their career in a job, in a corporate space, and it's like you do just become numb to your feelings, your emotions, it's like, this is what I have. And guys, coming back to a space of when we realize that we're all one energy, and coming back to a space of that, it's almost like, for me, I instantly felt sadness in my heart for my brothers and sisters who are stuck in that illusion, in that hologram in reality. And I also know that I can only honor their journey, yet this is why this is so powerful. Hopefully people will hear, even if coaches are like never maybe thought of getting into corporate America or realizing the value that's there, the gold that is available there.
Right.
I'm more talking about, let's look at it from a place of, can you imagine the shift in our experience around the world, in our consciousness? Because when we rise in that, sickness disappears, poverty disappears, all those things become non-existent because we're in a high vibe frequency. Yet we'll appeal right now to the surface mind that might say, well, why would I get into corporate America? Because no one is doing it and knows how, and this is how we affect the masses to a greater degree. So I'll let you, like,
exactly.
I love hearing your stories all the time you share with me of like how one person from one of your trainings in a, you know, obviously the corporations that you work with, how their sales team, you know, magnifies what they produce, and yet how you'll get these letters from someone like loses 30 to 50 pounds and you don't even teach them weight coaching. You're just teaching them basic concepts of understanding that all of a sudden their whole world changes and then the whole corporation changes, and how valuable that is.
So yeah, and I'm gonna share a couple stories real quick that are just coming through me, and I want to preface it with this. You know, I mean, some of the things that you and I spend coaching calls talking about, and some of the concepts that we cover, you know, raising the consciousness in one mind, and you know, those are things that you know that we've been able to grasp and understand what that means and how to feel what that means over the course of time, and you know, through your journey of personal development, right? But imagine you're somebody in a company who literally just doesn't even have access and would never go searching for that thing, because why would you? I mean, you know, if 95% of the hardwiring that is driving your preferences since you were 9 years old is, or even 7, I think it keeps getting less and less. I mean, next thing you know, it'll be 4, but right? Yeah. So if that. But yeah, exactly. But if that's what's been driving your preferences, why would you go seeking something new? That's your norm. It's normal to be that. I'm in a hotel because I'm keynote. Yeah, exactly. I'm at this hotel because I'm keynoting in literally like 45 minutes at this conference, and they literally named the conference after my Surviving to Thriving mission, which is, you know, my personal mission. The mission of my company is to help people in organizations stop surviving, start thriving. They literally named it after that because we see what's going on in this industry. We see what's going on, you know, even with some of the customers that are here, is literally just a survival mindset, right? And so just understand that survival piece is what gets wired in like early on. If your norm, if you saw financial survival, physical survival, all that stuff going on in your life when you were little, you're likely to recreate that, right? 20 years later.
Programming. Yep.
Yeah, it's your programming. So I want to tell you about Nate. Nate has been one of my star pupils, okay, over the last year. So Nate, literally almost a year ago this week, I think, Marci, Nate walked into our program, which we start, and this is corporate training, guys. So at 6 a.m., we've got him in a kickboxing workout. Okay, they're doing kickboxing with a 2-time world champion fighter out of Ireland. And he's my guy. I live in Omaha. We bring everybody into Omaha for this particular event. And Nate comes in, all 6'1", 345 pounds of him. Okay. Now I'm not shaming him because he was a big guy. He knew what was going on in his life. He knew that something needed to change. He'd started down the path of change many, many times, but had never been supported by his company, by his peers. Right? Yeah. He never had the accountability to make it through. So I will never forget the moment. So Nate, at the end of the workout, after we get done with our ab routine, is like laying over in the corner in a puddle of sweat. All right. And I kind of feel sorry for the guy because he hadn't worked out a bunch. And Nate and I are good friends, and I can poke fun at him all day. And that's why I can share this story. But he's literally laying over in the corner, feels like he's dying. And Mick, the trainer, walks over, and he's Irish. He's got that accent, you know what I'm saying? And he says, "Nate, how are you doing?" And Nate looks up at him, and he's like, "I'm dying, Mick." And Mick goes, "No, for the first time in your life, you're fucking living."
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, and that was the moment, right?
That was a good replay.
Yeah, I was like, I've told the story like 100 times, so like I've got it down. So, but that was his thing. Like that was his. I call it the discovery moment. So to break free from survival, you have to have a discovery moment. This is the moment when I realized that things could be better. You could do more. You could have more. Life could be happier. And here's Austin, one of Nate's former employees. Here, by the way, here's the here's one of the the follow-up, right? I don't have the before and after picture in front of me to show you. Nate came back to Omaha for a follow-up event for our executive leaders group last week, and he's down 90 pounds. He's down 90 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, he set a goal to lose basically 2 pounds a week for a year, and he's almost there. So here's the big thing. Okay, I don't do fitness coaching. I'm not a nutrition coach. Like, I lead by example. I'm in good shape. I work out. I try to eat healthy. Like, I do the things, but that's not what I do.
Make it a priority every day. Yes.
I'm mindset, skill set. Like, that's the kind of corporate training that I do. And we go in, like, our intention in doing training or coaching is to help people be happier in the workplace, sell more, help teams thrive instead of survive, do things like that. It's not about helping Nate lose 90 pounds. That was a side benefit of him awakening. That was him awakening.
Imagine the shift of his life and his frequency and everything that he's doing. And I know you've told me lots of stories, like, with like, from the sales teams changing to everything changing. And I want to bring it back to the point that you mentioned in the beginning, is a lot of times in corporations, again, it's like most people in an entrepreneurial position, when they don't see the value of what is possible or understand what's possible, they're in the survival thing. Like, so it's like, what's this moment? What's this moment? What's this moment? So it's like the sales team is just doing what it can. The management is just doing what they can. The people are just surviving day to day. And when we know as entrepreneurs, and also as been focused on our own growth processes, that when we invest in ourselves, the law of parallel returns will always be present. The law of parallel return says, energy I put into something is the energy I receive back. So hence, if we put energy into our body, what do we have, Mark? We have healthy, strong bodies, right? If we put energy and money and invest in ourselves, into our growth and our expansion, right? You've got that bicep tattoo. Show that. The bicep tattoo.
Here's the survival. It'll be backwards on live, but survival is dead.
Survival is dead.
Yeah, it's time. It's my time to thrive.
I can do it backwards.
It's time to thrive. Yeah, it's time to thrive. So that's literally.
Is you told me lots of stories about how with the little mini shifts in a corporation, how then the whole company begins to thrive. Not only for, and again, from a corporate point of view, or say the CEO, or there's someone who's making the decisions, seeing the benefits of. We know a lot of people, and I'll revert back to something that was really powerful for me. And when I got the download, it was about 2 years ago when I first got the download, that it was like, it's time to serve the masses. And I had the guidance. It was like, call this person. That led to this person had done my program years ago, and they were now doing setting up. They were working with corporations in China, and they literally were like, they had been through my program, massively changed their life. They're like, oh my gosh, you kidding me? We can put your program in the corporation. And because knowing, first off, corporation wants you to have better health. That's why a lot of them might have been on the trendy, let's get you in a gym membership, or let's do something like that. Because if we create better health, we save more money. Yet not realizing that most people will never even achieve those goals to feel better, because like you described with Nate, is they sabotage because their internal belief systems and everything else is so low frequency, and they don't, that it's like, this is all I'm worthy of. So they sabotage that. So there wasn't a lot of success, I'll say, in necessarily like just the corporate space being like just focused on nutrition, fitness. And what I realized is even when they say we want to invest in a way that we save money, really is what they want, or they want to create money, etc. Yet a way that the employees get to do that. What I realized is, even in the corporations I went into, even though it looked like they were getting health and fitness and other things, because that was a piece of what I taught, that I could imagine how, as they started to understand the greater depth, right? Like be awakened to, all that was actually happening and running, and that they can have a different experience, how one person changes their entire family, their entire sphere changes, corporation changes, how many lives will shift when we do that. And you've really been able to see that because you've been working in corporations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where it was actually weird to me that people didn't understand how to actually take their coaching program into the corporate space, because that's literally all I've ever done. Yeah. It's actually harder for me to go.
Guys, listen up, because this is what Mark's going to share, is that this is what's so revolutionary. Not that many people are doing this. Not that many coaches have any idea of how do you get into a corporation? How do you share your value to assist more people? And it's one of the greatest ways that we can assist more. So this is like, I'm super excited about it, because this is like, no one's doing this, and you're actually now putting yourself in a position to share with coaches and people how to do this.
Exactly. Right. So I call it preaching in the church of corporate America. And some people probably think that's sacrilege. I don't know, but to me, that's what it is. Because what other entity in America, and let's be honest, and beyond, North America, South America, Southeast Asia, like, I mean, anywhere there's a business, Europe for that matter, what other entity do we spend more time with than the business that we go to work for at least 8 hours a day, and in many cases more? And like, if the old saying is true, the old Jim Rohn quote, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you're spending an easy 40 to 60, sometimes 80 hours a week at work. Well, look around, who's in the cube next to me, who's in my conference room. So I believe that the opportunity, the blue ocean, if you will, for coaches who whether they want to add a line of revenue or another service to have an impact in their business, or if they just want to find another way to help people, or let's be honest, like 70% of coaches are making less than 30 grand a year. Maybe you haven't considered that there are other audiences, and you're just looking at what everybody else is doing, right? You're looking at, this is the way the herd's going this way. Everybody's marketing to other entrepreneurs, and that's great. I don't see that going away. It's always been there. That's going to keep going. But what if there was like another audience for you? and I'll just have you consider this. Like
that, guys. There's a whole other. There's always more ways that we can find to serve.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just be honest, like who needs it more than the 90% of the population that does work for somebody else, who I'll put it this way. And I tell my managers that buy my programs this, who may be working for unenlightened leaders, for leaders that don't get it, that haven't even imagine this. I mean, if you're in this pyramid shaped company that has a CEO and then some vice presidents and then some mid-level managers and then employees, it's a pyramid, right? It's the original pyramid scheme, by the way. So, and what if that CEO or those vice presidents or, that manager of your business unit, doesn't get it, like is whatever, when they're mean or call it unenlightened or just uninspired. Right? Yet that is your main, it's supposed to be your main source of inspiration. And like that's what I have a heart for, is helping awaken leaders in that space as well as their teams, because what we find when we do that, amazing things happen. You alluded to it earlier. We've literally had a sales team of like 8 people it was Nate's team. They literally, because of what he was leading and the change, we were also coaching his team at the same time. They doubled their gross margin. Now, it's not all about dollars and cents. These guys are happier. Their marriages are better. Some of the others have lost weight. They're healthier, right? So what I'm literally talking about is taking whatever your coaching program is, if it's life coaching, if it's health coaching, if it's fitness coaching, whatever the case may be, I'm just going to position the idea that there's a place for it in what I call the Church of Corporate America to help wake people up, literally awakening the other 90% that aren't playing in this entrepreneurial space. It's there.
Yeah, and how powerful is that, And, the other thing that strikes me is when you're saying, like, again, you think about the drudgery of, and a lot of you that might be watching people that relate to this, that maybe got out of corporate America or in corporate America.
Yeah.
And relate to the drudgery of just like the day-to-day, like you said. I can't even fathom, because I haven't even been in that world for so long, yet you're saying, the people that you're around. I remember working 3 jobs back to back as a teenager because, my dad passed away and I had to help my family survive. And just the energy of each space was just draining. Like it was like, this is draining. This is what we have to do for money, etc. And when there is no greater aspect of living or purpose, even in that space, you think of how the company really is doing versus it sounds like what we have the possibility of doing is light people up, to having a fire and a spark to like go to work, even around. So I've seen it trickle down, obviously from the management to the employees, and for them to also become a space of accountability. As we looked at it with like the Marci Lock program, where it's like people like, the Lock Glass formula or the freedom formula is creating every aspect of your life to become a priority. Just like you said, and you don't have to be like, you're not hardcore fitness, but you live in alignment with your body and live in alignment with your relationships. You live in alignment with, your growth every day. And all of a sudden people have this greater understanding to be able to go, oh, like if that's where I'm coming from every day and the people around me are as well, how much more the company thrives, how much more each person thrives, and then what that creates is a change. And it is so true that we forget that, I mean, you work with it all the time. I forget. I know that when I'm in public, I'm like, oh yeah, I hear languaging that like, oh yeah, I forgot that that's what people think about and talk about and worry about and focus on. And that's there every single day. So, I mean, I know we're looking at a few different very, you know, worlds. There are some people here as healers and as coaches and mentors are like, they know they're here to serve. And we also know that you get to be paid for your service and your value, that's the value exchange, and that's the law of parallel return. So I love that when you realize like no one else is really doing this. So help people understand, like if someone is a coach or a mentor or guide, or say that they have some sort of program or something that they feel like can offer value, because obviously what we've set up now is like you're interacting with so many corporations to then go, cool, not only who do we have that fits what their corporation specifically is looking for, but also helping coaches understand how they can also take action in getting into corporations that might specifically be attuned to their space. So how does that look? How does that, what's the space that people can, you know, go to or understand to be able to do that?
Absolutely. So I'm going to tell you about a little Facebook group here at the end. But here's the thing. When I think about like, well, how do you, why aren't more people there already? Now don't get me wrong, there are coaches and trainers and different people doing things in the corporate space. You see Grant Cardone, he's selling to corporate, right? Vaynerchuk, you know, he's obviously selling marketing, but he's doing training stuff in that space. I'll go so far as to maybe suggest maybe coaching is a little bit different. There's a lot of digital products, and I think there's a little bit more of a hands-on, like we need your hands, you know, in some of those spaces too a little bit. But I think one of the big reasons we don't is because it seems kind of scary and ambiguous. Like, who do I talk to? You know, where do I go? Like, how do I even get started? And those are questions that I've been answering with a lot of coaches have been coming to me and say, Mark, it seems so easy for you to access the corporate space. Like, you just sort of hack your way in there. How do you do that? And for me, it's as easy as breathing. Like, I just know how to do it. So, you know, I sort of got to thinking, and by the way, this literally comes from divine inspiration for me. This is not just like, oh, hey, I want to add another line of revenue to my business or something like that down the road, and I'm going to teach other coaches. This literally, I was in the jungle with Marci in Colombia last year, meditating on a rock. Okay. And learning more about, it was an incredible rock. I spent a lot of time on that rock over the week that we were down there. Here's the thing. I was sitting there in meditation, and I was just learning, you know, more about my purpose here on the planet and who I am and why I'm here. And I literally said, like, I meditated on the words, what is the mission? What is the mission? Right? For years, I've been helping people and organizations stop surviving and start thriving as a speaker and a coach. Okay. Tonight, I'm going to get on stage in front of 375 people and share with them what it takes to stop surviving and start thriving in life. Corporate people. Okay. That was a part of it. But there was something bigger calling. And literally while I'm in meditation, like as plain as day, this hashtag pops in front of my face. It says, wake up corporate America. Yeah. And I was like, blown away in a way, like, yes, that's it. That's the thing. Like, that's how we go further. That's how we do more. Like, it's not just this. Like, what I've basically been able to do is prove the concept for how to build a corporate life coaching business. That's something that not very many people have done. And so we have the ability to do that, to scale that. And I'll be honest, it's actually not that hard when you break down the steps. It's going to seem ambiguous. It's going to seem clunky at first, but really, if you let us guide you, it's going to be really simple. Like so that's, like it is. I mean,
over and over again, right?
It is not. Yeah. I mean, and once you get on the bike, you can't unlearn how to ride the bike. Yeah. And once you get that first note from somebody in a corporation where like this is what happens. Most of them walk into a training room or onto a webinar or whatever it is, you know, however you teach, thinking this is going to be like every old lame ass thing that they've ever been to. That's usually like they literally, I got to share this story. I was at a training. I'm at the door. I'm shaking the hands, right? And everybody's walking in and I can hear the one of the sales guys behind me in the conference room who thinks I can't hear him, who literally says, he's like, wow, we must have really fucked up last year. We got to go to sales training. Like that becomes another one of these. Yeah, another one of these, right? And you know, this guy's now in his second coaching program. So you know, there's a lot of advantages to this corporate stuff. Not only you know, is there opportunity there, but what if you could have like I see a lot of these groups out here teaching you how to get like how to sell high ticket coaching, right? So $3,000, $5,000 tickets, you know, to entrepreneurs, which I think is great. But what if you could sell to one person at one company and they get 10 of those for you? Yeah. I don't know. Like to me, Marci, this seems like less work.
Well, and it's continuous, like you said. But there's two things. Hang on, there's two things coming through. First off, I just want to say how incredibly, like you saw. I don't know if you saw me. I was doing this. Like, I'm just like, I remember that moment. I remember you so glowing and lit up, like this whole new awakening inside you had, obviously, which we know happens in the jungle. Yet it was like, I remember you having the hashtag Wake Up Corporate America and just this explosion of excitement for what you now felt so called to do. And it's so, I just like, I'm teary, like going, oh, I love seeing the process. I love seeing all that you've done to align to that space and bring a greater value, which fills you up even more. And it makes a bigger difference for the world. That is truly what we just being yourself. You're just such a bright, big light. And on top of that, one thing I was reminded of is when you were saying, the guy who was like, oh, fuck, we must have fucked up. Here we go. I had the experience of, literally from the management or higher levels wanting me to come in and coach and be in a corporate experience and realizing there's a big gap between the people going, I don't fucking care, right? And so there is a big importance to what you're teaching in guiding people. Otherwise, that's probably why maybe there is some fear around it, or people are like, how do I get in there? Yeah. Because there's been, I know you, Gavin the Great was trying to call me after school. I was like, oh, hang on, babe. I know, being in that place where if you maybe there's fear around the corporation because of course the CEO or the person doesn't understand the value. You have given me, or you've shared so many stats in the past of like what's really happening, that literally will open up that's how you, like, when you get in and you create that truth for the person in charge, you go, whoa, this is how I'm really going to affect my company. This is actually what's possible. And here I've been like, what else do we try in marketing? Yet you don't realize that there's a massive thing being missed in how people are operating in your business. And what I do want to say is through the teachings that you're now making available for coaches to understand how to do this, I feel like this is really important because I've had the experience of literally corporations that, absolutely, like, we were like, boom, program in and people rock and make a big difference. And I've had the experience of being in and there's a big disconnect from the conversation between the employees and the management and et cetera, that the employees don't really care. And all those little ways of, finding out what a corporation really requires and speaking their language. So it isn't like there is no force or fight or push, again, because we completely, we're more in the bliss, flow, ease, joy. That's what we're aligned to.
Right.
We know that. So, and I just feel like it's important for people to hear that, as it's why it's just like doing anything when you understand how to really, truly, when you're coming from a place of like to be of service, you would of course want to talk to a corporation, find out what is really the need. And how do you support that and offer that? And then how are you in full connection to even allow the employees to see the value of getting the shift? So it's not some thing that just becomes like this was a framed waste of time, et cetera, and becomes a challenging experience. There's so much gold there when you get the right direction in just how to almost use the new language and communicate to that space, right?
Absolutely. There's and first of all, there's a couple of different things out of there that, just based on what you just said, number one is what's the nuance of the playground? I call the playground is the corporate space. So what's the nuance of that space? You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you need to be talking to? What if the employees don't want in? What if they don't care? I've developed like a whole method. It takes 5 minutes and all of a sudden, like, you've got them, they're in, they want to be there. And so it's not as hard as we sometimes make it out to be. Sometimes we get caught up in our own head, like, what if they don't like me? What if we don't connect? And, we can work through some of those things too. But with what we're going to bring through Wake Up Corporate America is literally like an opportunity for coaches to be able to step in and like learn all those things, just learn the little, the bits and pieces that go into being able to access that space, enhance your business and spread your impact far and wide while waking up a space. 70% of people in America are disengaged with their work. That means they, it's like ho hum when I go to work every day. Like
70%. For high level management or CEO to understand that 70% of their operations, right, is like
Yep.
just there going through the motions, just the hour to hour, disengaged. And how do you even shift that? You can't shift it from that
Yeah.
space, especially like, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
huge.
So, and here's one more factoid while we're at it. And you've got 51% of employees, at least, will report that they don't get adequate feedback from their manager. Right? Like they don't know, like they literally don't even know what they're supposed to be doing. So there's this ultimate lack of clarity, right? And so,
Well,
I mean,
there's
that's
massive lack of communication.
yeah.
Right?
And so as a coaching, yeah, I can see Wade from my team is on here, and I built up a team that does a lot of this coaching with me now. And we're actually able to create in some ways that communication that gets to be had inside the company. Sometimes we get to create hard conversations that actually accelerate the development, accelerate the sales, accelerate the leadership, accelerate whatever it is. Sometimes we get to highlight some things, we solve problems. We've literally helped people stay at a company for an extra 2 years, even though they were ready to quit, and we just helped them get over that one thing that was holding them back. A lot of the times we find that the stuff that's holding people back at work has nothing to do with work. We just manifest it at work because I have a problem at home and I don't know how to fix that. So from a life coaching perspective, sometimes that's it. Wade, one of the coaches on my team, my director of biz dev, he literally had a conversation with a coaching client yesterday who, prior to coming into coaching 3 months ago, was having anxiety attacks about work, panic attacks about work, and now he's not. Is that, it's that simple. So, I mean, obviously, like, there's some work, and we didn't even know what was going on. It was just the process of going through coaching and having somebody else to talk to and having that extra outlet, right? But nobody would have discovered it because the companies aren't built to seek that stuff out, and we are.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. And that's such a high value when you go, actually, is there someone in the organization that sifts through and finds the understanding or the disconnects? And I know communication is so huge. I mean, in almost every corporate that we work with or in everything that we've done, it's like just even the disconnect between management to employees. Like you said, there's just no conversation because all we know how to do is operate out of our norm of what we've learned, which is like, well, what if I say this? I'm afraid I won't, so I'll just do this and I'll assume that. And then there's projections and assumptions and all this craziness. And it's just like, when you even think about that, I'm like, oh, like the heaviness of that and the chaos of dealing with that every single day. It's a challenge to remember being in that space and what people are going through in that space. So
Exactly.
how, because I know you've got to get on stage soon.
I've got to go. Yeah. so just imagine now, we feel the heaviness, right? But I'm also imagining the world that starts to manifest over the next 5 to 10 years as badass coaches such as yourself and so many people that are on here right now. There's like 30 people on right now, and however many people that watch this after we're done. Imagine the inspiration that takes place in the workspace, the awakening, that starts to take place in the planetary shift that can be enabled that may be even being blocked because there's so many people working in that heavy atmosphere. So that's where we're going. That's the concept behind Waking Up Corporate America. I'll just extend an open invite. We've got a group.
Wake Up Corporate World, right? Like
it is.
Everything. Like anyone that's stuck in that zombie type space, there's it's time for all of us to care enough to create a revolution for our humanity. And that's why there's been so much shifting with the world and the planet. And we could go woo-woo and we could keep it very basic, but it's like that the only way you change your even experience, because again, I'll bring it back to the first point, sharing the collective mind, sharing space, sharing experience, etc., is to actually do something about it. And when do we actually, I love, like, it was Gandhi who said, like, be the change. Be the change.
Be the change. Yeah, and you literally you are the light. You with any coaching client that you work with, you are a light in their life, and I think this is just another place that needs the amplification that gets to see you. So, really simple. I'm not here to pitch a big sales pitch or anything, but we've got a really cool group called Wake Up Corporate America. WUCA is the hashtag. Wake Up Corporate America is the other hashtag. Connect with myself or
Facebook group.
Yeah,
right? It's just a Facebook group.
It's just a Facebook group. Yep. We're just building community out of coaches who have a desire to have greater impact, and they're just kind of maybe exploring the space and want to learn more. I've already done a bunch of trainings in there. There's some really good videos to just kind of learn how to start getting your head around accessing this space. It's all there. It's free. It's fun. It's just come hang out with us. Come play.
Can you do because I'm so basic, right? Can you do the like a link to the actual community page? So anyone can click on that link and then just ask to join, and you can
You bet.
Approve them.
As soon as we finish this up,
Cool.
we'll get the link in the notes, you guys. Just click on over there or search it if you want. Wake Up Corporate America. Marci and I are hanging out over there along with the team from my company at MJST and a whole bunch of other badass coaches, and we know you want to come hang out there. So come play.
Well, and I'd love to position for people to just, you know, I mean, because I know you got to jet off to keynote. I've obviously got the Goddess Empire event going down tomorrow, but I would love people to ask questions. Like, where is there a gap still? You know, and it might be actually, you know what, go to the Facebook page and then ask the question, because that's where, again, you've already done some trainings and already are creating the space for people to ask questions around this, is to how to get into corporate America, some of the different things that are available for them to learn how to do that.
Exactly.
Really see, like, again, connecting to that download that you got in Columbia, where it's like, the bigger vision of what you're here to do. You've always seen the corporate space is so easy, and you're doing it. And now you see, how do we revolutionize that space for a lot more healing and improvement and having a different experience. So
cool.
For that. I'm super excited to see this whole thing come about.
Yeah, it's been like 9 months of like continuous drips of little bits of inspiration, and now it's here. Now it's like, now I can feel it, I can taste it, and it's going to be awesome. And I look forward to just, I mean, Lisa, Simone, some of you that I saw that are really interested in this, Sami I saw on here. I mean, come hang. It's a Facebook group.
Programs and Goddess.
Yeah.
Ready to jump in the corporate space?
Yeah. She knows what it's all about. So cool opportunities happening over there. So we'll see you guys over there in the Wake Up Corporate America group, and always hanging out with the wonderful Marci Locke. Love you. Thank you so much.
I love you, my friend. Cool. Well, I'm going to let you rock out your keynote. We're going to say goodbye, guys. But if you have, again, head over there, ask questions, and then really let's start to spread this and share this. If you have other friends or coaches or people
please.
or even people in the corporate space that this could affect, like, the whole idea is for people to really see how they can make a bigger impact in a whole nother way it's gonna change the experience for all of us. So that's really what we want to share. So please share that and assist people in knowing where they can get support in that too. So awesome.
You got it.
Love you guys.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. God bless.
Thrive today. Okay.
Survival's dead. It's your time to thrive. Let's go get it. Take care.
That's right. There it is.